Hello and welcome back to Real Talks podcast. You are hearing from your host Priscilla. I am a mindset and a transformational coach, and I am so happy that you are here. Today's episode is going to be nostalgic, especially for me because this is a goodbye and a see you later. So, this is going to be the last podcast in English for a while. I hope that at one point in the future I can come back to this, but for now I will stop and I will start doing it in Spanish. So, in this episode, I'm going to go through all my process, how I took this decision, and basically why I'm changing my whole business to Spanish right now after a whole year of putting so much effort. Like, I started this business around October on 2022. So, it's already more than 2 years, more than 1 year, 1 year and 2 months, more or less, something like that. So yeah, it was a really hard decision to decide to change to Spanish, but I just couldn't ignore my intuition. And there are so many things that I have to tell you in this episode, so let's get started. First of all, I want to talk about intuition. Yeah, so when you hear about intuition, it feels very magical and it feels like a six sense. Uh, you cannot really grasp or say with words what it is, right? But hear me out. Let's go back a little bit. First things first, we have been programmed already since our childhood and since so much time before. So within your genetic programming, you have so much wisdom and so much traumas and just information that is there waiting for any situation to activate it. So all of this information is within your brain, within your genetics, just waiting for the moment that it has the time or that it has to express itself in order to help you in a specific way so that you can find a solution to a problem or go through a situation that will teach you something. Because we have come to this world to learn, right? So that is the first thing that we always have to remember, that there is already so much information within ourselves that is interacting with the environment around us in so many ways as well. So that's the first thing. Second thing, we are 95% unconscious and 5% conscious. So yes, there are so many things that are happening inside your body that you are not aware of. And in a specific moment, if you need to work through something that you are not conscious, then it will come out. And if you find your intuition, or if you hear yourself enough, if you find the cues within your body, then you are going to be able to listen and to just follow that nudge, that intuition, that thing. Now, the third thing will be that our brain receives so much information. I'm not sure how much was it. I don't remember the number exactly, but it was like, I don't know, specific number of billions of bytes that you receive on information every day, and you are aware of. No, actually I don't remember well the numbers, but I remember it was like billions of information, and you can only receive a certain amount, like less, I'm sure it's less than 10%. So your brain needs to manage all this information in a specific way, and especially today where we can see so much our social media, YouTube, there is so much information around that your brain needs to manage all this information in a specific way. So what it does is that when you get this information, it is going to generalize the information, distort the information, or delete the information. Okay? And you are consciously aware of only 5% of this. The other 95% of this will just get inside you, but you will not be aware of that. And that's why people say, like, you have to be careful with the things you let enter within yourself, because if you're too much exposed to something that you don't want to integrate, then it's better just to not give the chance to your body to integrate that. Anyways, I'm getting out of my point. The thing is that then when within your day you're having so much information during your day that will cause you also to, have information within you. Now, why am I talking about this and about intuition? Well, your intuition is nothing else than you learning to listen yourself and learning to listen all the information that you have already within you. And that's why you might have, or you have so many answers already within you, because you have already so much information that you are not consciously aware of. So that is your intuition. When you learn to listen yourself, then you're going to understand the cues that your body is giving you for you to go towards that lesson or towards that thing that your mind wants you to go to. Okay, and let me explain with my example. So when I got to in August, when I got to Costa Rica, I I had this thought that was telling me, should I change to Spanish because I'm Costa Rican. I'm going to live now for a while in Latin America. And yeah, but I didn't do it because the notch wasn't so big. It was just a thought, and already have a beautiful community in English, which I really liked. So I didn't want to change. Now, many things happen, many resilience related things happen, especially within my business. So I changed a lot this year, especially from August to December. I changed a lot. So in December, I had again a nudge. Should I do this thing in Spanish? And I say I don't know. So I will do an experiment. That's the good thing about being a scientist for me. I love experiments, and if I don't know the answer, then I just experiment and I don't make it mean anything about myself, or at least I try. So I started doing an experiment, and this experiment was to do my content in English and Spanish, and to see how it goes. How do I feel about that? How people is responding to me, and just to see how it goes. So while doing that, I realized, first of all, doing content by myself in two different languages, it's hard. It takes double the time. It takes a lot of. Also, you cannot just translate because translation is not always accurate. And if you want to give your own voice, then you have to be more careful about that. So I realized first that it was a lot of information, and second, I started having a tight throat. So tight throat is a feeling that you have when, for this we can go back a little bit. When we were in a primitive scenery like thousands of years ago, if you see a lion or tiger or something that can eat you and your life is in danger, then many things will happen to your body. But one of those things is that your throat will open wide so that you can breathe easily in case you have to fight, in case you have to run away, or in case you have to just stay quiet and without moving. But the body does this in survival mode. Okay, nowadays this can happen for you if you feel threatened by a specific thing. So if you feel that there is a threatened, and your body will do this in a way to respond to this, because the body doesn't understand that today's, I don't know, that a comment in social media that is not so friendly, it's different from a lion. That the comment will not kill you, but the lion could. But your brain doesn't know the difference. So your nervous system will react in that way, anyways. So coming back to the story, I started having a tight throat, but I ignore. After a while, maybe 2 weeks into December, it started getting worse. And I say, okay, what is happening? I cannot ignore this anymore. Especially because this tight throat is a very common symptom for me when I have the anxiety. So I say, okay, something is triggering me, and I don't know what it is. So I came back to myself. I did a meditation, and I did many things to try to release. So I will tell you the things I try to the tools that I use to try to release this. I use EFT tapping, which is my favorite tool I will say for anxiety is the one that helped me. It did nothing. EFT tapping did nothing, and I was like, no way. Then I did a release session where I opened my hips, I opened my chest, and I did a massage of my vagal nerve. Then I let me think what else I did. I did a lot of journaling, but in these cases I don't like journaling because I am intellectualizing my thoughts and I just want to release this emotion. I don't want to intellectualize it. Because I thought there was nothing behind. So then after that, I used neural energetic encoding 2 or 3 times one day. I couldn't do any work because this thing got really worse. So neural energetic encoding, for you if you don't know, is a tool where you can go back and just listen to your subconscious mind so that you can release things. So I release sadness, I release angriness, and I think I released a limiting belief. I don't remember which one was right now, but when I was doing that, suddenly came to me. It was a voice that told me, change to Spanish. And I'm still practicing on this, but when sometimes I hear a voice, but it's myself saying something that I would like to listen, and sometimes it's my subconscious mind. So it's still difficult to differentiate between those, but that one was really strong. And when I heard that, my tight throat stopped. Not completely, but I will say 50% less of the uncomfortable emotion or uncomfortable feeling disappear just right after I heard that. And I say, fuck. Are you really telling me to stop everything that I have done for 1 year and 2 months? Well, at that moment was for 1 year already. Do you want me to stop and to start a new thing all in Spanish? No way. I won't do it because it took me a lot of time to get here. So time passes and this tight throat came back. So I say, okay, fuck, I will need to, I guess I will need to find again the way to listen my intuition and I will have to go through this. So I made a really big list telling myself why I don't want to do it in Spanish, why I don't want to do it in English, and why do I want to do it in each language. And at the end, I realized that in English, I don't. Yes, of course, I do feel that I'm confident and that my voice is needed, but in Spanish, I just don't see anyone talking about these topics, especially in Latin America. I see some things, but it's more motivational stuff. It's not really the why in behind the things happens. And really, how can you rewire your subconscious? How can you regulate your nervous system and rewire actually your nervous system to be calm at every day? And I say, okay, I guess I'm going to be one of the pioneers who will start talking about this. But because it is 100% sure that this will happen. Because this stuff is getting very popular because it helps people, right? So at one point, someone has to start in Spanish, and I realized that person is going to be me. It was kind of an epiphany. And right after I did that, I didn't feel so nostalgic about all the work I did already, and it felt very easy for me to just change that. And like fun fact, I told my brain I want this year to be a quantum leap. So guess what? There are going to be so many lessons that I will have to learn. So yeah, get prepared. My body started telling me all of the lessons already. Not even January started and my body was telling me, okay, if you want to quantum leap, then we need to change all of this. So at that point, and by the way, if you don't know what quantum leap means, it just means like you will change yourself and achieve so many things in a short amount of time because you experience a great shift within yourself that allows you to be the kind of person who accomplishes all of these things. Okay, so I got to this point and I say, okay, I need to change that. But I, of course, felt bad, and especially nostalgic because I had really good clients and lovely clients that worked with me in English. So, especially in my community, I felt bad to just stop doing that. And that's why I decided to kind of give it close end until I can come back to English. So, that's why I'm doing this podcast, and I'm going to send an email today as well. And I did some stories about that in my Instagram because I just want to give a nice closer to something that have really helped me to grow and having given me a lot of really beautiful emotions. Yeah. So after that, I started changing all, already everything to English. And I start reflecting, okay, I'm getting better at learning what is my intuition telling me, listening my body, and sometimes the tools that you want or the tools that you have will not help you if there is something behind. Like if you have something that you have to go back and to understand and start changing it. So yeah, but then I realized, yes, the tight throat got much better, but it didn't disappear. And yesterday, finally on January 1st, I understand why it wasn't disappearing. So I have a story in my teenage age, where I was betrayed by a really close friend. So after that, I have been having not real problems with relationships, but I'm quite afraid of, of interacting with people in a deeply way. I don't have any problem if it's just talking to them, but if I have to really be vulnerable and say everything I think, then I hold back. And I have got better. I have gotten better so much since I started, but it was still there. And yesterday I again realized that, and again the tight throat disappear a lot again. So this is what I'm telling you. There is so much information that I'm not aware of. There are so many experiences that I don't know have an impact in my today's life, but they are having it. So just when I'm ready to listen to myself is when I'm going to be able to, start releasing these things and make these pivotal changes that has you might see that it has no strategy behind. Of course there is some strategy behind, but they are based on my intuition because my intuition have never failed to me. That's how I got the opportunity to go and travel the world. That's how I got my lovely boyfriend, and that's how I'm discovering, or that's how I discover what is the thing that I want to do right now with my life. So your intuition is there for a reason. When you feel that something is off, do not ignore that feeling until you can say, okay, this was nothing. But if you feel that something is off, just go back there and understand and try to listen yourself. Try to do meditation where you are feeling all the parts of your body, and then you ask yourself, what is this trying to tell me? And there, your subconscious mind will start telling you what is the thing that you need to learn at this point. The more you do it, the easier it will get. Yeah. So that is the story basically on how I decided to change to Spanish. And even though it's very nostalgic, I do feel grateful because now I feel more confident, and especially I feel like it is more like a mission, that I really want to give all my knowledge away because people need to know this. And this is how I started as well, just listening to podcasts and listening to people and understanding how has been their path, and how can I help them in a way that they will change and shift their life for better forever, and they will change generational trauma and yeah, stuff like that. So Now I just want to say goodbye and that I am always available for you, even though I'm doing content in Spanish. I can still speak English. So if you have any question that you want to tell me, that you want to ask me, or if there is just something that you want to tell me, just do not hesitate of writing me at my Instagram or my email that is in the description of this podcast. And just know that I I am deeply grateful for you. I am deeply grateful because you are listening to this. And yeah, please let me know if I can help in any way. And with nothing else to say, I want to say goodbye. See you later because I really hope I can come back to English once I have help in my business. And yes, that's it. Thank you so much and see you at one point in our life. Bye.